It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Boom, it's Rusty. What is up, everybody? It is Thursday. And yeah, we're here. We're doing things. So thank you, everyone, for being here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGEBN, on the podcast, the Public Access Podcast. And I'm your host, Rusty Diamond. I think I said some of the stuff twice, but you can never have too much information at the beginning, right off the bat, correct? Anyway, today it's a special guest, and it's a guest who's been on before, a special guest who's been on before. And before that, I'm going to say, hey, you want to call and leave a message? 503-974-6420. Maybe you don't want to leave a message, and you're like, huh? And you're like, ah.
Messages? We don't need no stinking messages!
But I need messages, 503-974-6420. So let's bring on our special guest right here, right now. And right here, right now, we have Maja Brexel. And there she is.
Hello.
Hi, Maja. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely fine. Just had an amazing session.
Oh, what was the session? Was I don't know if you can get very into detail, but what kind of session?
Yes, that was a session for a person today, and it was in a general life-changing session. This person had a way in his life, and it brought him to where he was, and he found out that he needs a change in order to continue. And he came to me, and because he didn't know about hypnosis, so he asked me what are the possibilities he has with hypnosis, and I explained that whatever we did in hypnosis is instant. He came out and it was changed, and it will continue, and he is coming another 2 times, because everyone who comes to me gets like a program where they have to do certain tasks also. I always do a little bit more than just hypnosis.
What kind of extra tasks are you asking for?
The tasks are, I have a product called the Magic Necklace. They have to do something with the necklace which brings you to focus on positive, which in the evening feeds the subconscious with positive things. And additionally, in order to be able to do the task, you are brought to in the day to look for positive things, to find positive moments in your life, so that the focus goes from nowhere on negative. That person was really very negative, seeing negative, thinking negative. Even when he does, the stand-up paddling.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, I'm in the middle of the ocean, far away from the sea, far away from the beach, on the sea, actually should enjoy my time, but I cannot control my monkey mind, my thoughts. I'm thinking of negative things, and I don't really like it. I want to change. And he saw me holding a talk, and he instantly said, I resonated with your words. I want to change my life. Can you help me? And I said, yes, please do come for the session. He today had his first session. My clients always get the magic necklace, that they do have the task, what they have to do every day in the evening before sleep, because everything you take 15 minutes before you go to sleep, your subconscious minds will work on it while you are resting. And it should have been a focus on positive things solely. So that is what the magic necklace brings the person to do. And additionally, in the next week, Oh, I told him about intention, that he has to now implement intention every step of the way in his life in the day. If you do something without intention, it is like you're watering soil without seeds, or you have seeds but you don't water them. Intention is very important. And as he has also a physical problem, the water, I gave also the post-hypnotic suggestion that every time now he is in the shower or he is in the sea, that this water will have a certain impact on his daily life. And one is that every time you see the color green, all these positive, beautiful emotions come rushing back to you. So from today, every day from today onwards, and from today onwards, every day you see the color green, all these beautiful feelings, the power feelings, the healing feelings, all these feelings come back as a post-hypnotic suggestion, so that then the subconscious can work on that every time it's recognizes the color green without him having to think about it, because that is, as a post-hypnotic suggestion, is a task giving to the subconscious and doing by the subconscious. Very powerful. It was his birthday today, so it was a very special day for him also to choose that day to change his life, to change the way he thinks, change the way he sleeps, change the way he walks up the mountain from now on, with positive thoughts and not thinking about negative or hateful thoughts even sometimes.
And I see in the background there's a plant, there's a flower that has green on green flowers. So it's always nice when you come back for that second and third appointment, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm feeling great coming. I mean, you're probably already feeling pretty great going in there, but that sure helps a little bit there. It's a nice
Yes,
little
and this
addition.
flower I got for my birthday. This month is my birthday month also. On the 3rd, it was my birthday, and this beautiful flower I received as a present. So I'm very, very happy.
That's a great present right there. So on the
Nice
third, so
colors.
yeah, well, happy late birthday. I guess that's,
Thank you.
I don't know what, I'm not sure the date is today, but it's not the third. I know that. I know we're past the third. So
Today's 12th.
the 12th. Okay. All right. So yeah, so a little over a week ago. And so what'd you do for your birthday? How'd you celebrate
Oh,
your birthday?
oh, for my birthday, it was very beautiful. I was invited by my mother was here to visit. You have to understand, I live in Spain. My mother lives in Germany, so she comes to visit me on my birthdays. We were invited at my neighbor's place for brunch, and we stayed from 12:30 till 5. Then another lady came, and I booked that day a talk in front of the German club. Here is a very big German community here in Spain where I am. And already in 2020, I was supposed to be a speaker in front of their group. But 2020, we all know, got cancelled. So over 3 years later now, I had my talk. And the beautiful thing is, I mostly do my talks in English on podcasts or on exhibitions, on fairs, or in front of groups. I get booked. And this time, my mother was there. So I booked a talk with a German club where my mother actually could take part, and for the first time ever saw me perform, so to say. That
How,
made me very happy. So we went there at 2000, it started, and then we came back late in the night, had another hug and another happy birthday kiss, and then we went to bed very happily and tired.
that sounds like a great day right there. And then
It
getting to have,
was.
yeah, getting to have your mom hear you in German as opposed to, because I mean, that's a whole different level of anything having to, I mean, not only are you going out speaking, but you're speaking in another language. So you got to, figure that in for, or is that just sort of second nature now? Like, is it like you're not really thinking about it when you're going and you're doing, a podcast or even doing hypnosis? Do you ever do hypnosis in German?
I practice hypnosis in German, in English, and in Spanish.
Okay. So does one have, let's see, does one have a better sound to it, like to you personally, or maybe to your clients, or does it? I mean, you can like if I was doing one in a few languages, I probably have some language that I like the sound of it with it, flowing with the with hypnosis. Is there one that you prefer of the three to do?
Interestingly enough, I speak 4 languages, practice in 3 languages, and all the language when I speak, the tone of voice changes. If I speak Dutch, English, German, or Spanish, every time my tone of voice is different. It has a different volume, it has a different level, so to say. And
Yeah.
interestingly enough, I have to admit that English is my preferred language. When I speak, I do have the tendency to slip into English. Instead of saying schön, I say beautiful, and then I have to it's schön. Yes, I do. My heart's language is English. My mother
Okay.
tongue is German and 2 other languages I learned, but my heart speaks English. I think in English, I dream in English, watch movies in English.
So
Yeah.
that was some. So I guess in before colored television was a thing, that people used to have dreams in black and white as well, which was, I'm not sure how accurate that is. I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I heard something about that. And was there a time when you noticed that all of a sudden your dreams were in English? And was that weird or anything, or interesting? Or did you
It was
notice?
interesting because in school in Germany, you learn English and you don't use it, you lose it. So until I went to UK to actually live in an English speaking country, everything changed. And then after this time when I understood comedy and especially sarcasm, like Blackadder, which is very famous in
You like Blackadder? Oh,
Love.
awesome! It's so good. It's so good.
Yes.
Rowan Atkinson's amazing. That's
Yeah.
I have a really good friend who turned me on to that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And interestingly enough, Dr. House
Uh-huh.
is played, he played the stupid prince in Blackadder.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting. When you watch a series where he plays the prince
Yeah.
and you look at it, it took me a while. It always said Dr. House sounds so familiar, the sound, the how he looks. But I did not make the connection to Blackadder. And he's actually playing the stupid prince. It's very interesting to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um it's always interesting when those things pop up, and then you're like, wait a minute, that's why I know this person. I don't, there was something I was just watching where it was kind of the same thing, and it's like, why do I know this person? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, right, yep, yep. That's I would have never guessed that in a million years. That's who it was. But I mean, yeah, that's I guess that's good acting or something. But so then, was British comedy? Is that something that was present in Germany? Because I mean, or did you have to get over into the UK to start watching that?
Yeah, I wanted to live in UK because I wanted to learn to speak English. I could speak, but I could not hold a conversation before. So that was, I can say hello, goodbye. I would not have, I would like to be have this as for food, for example, but to sit, have a conversation, have a laugh, have a little bit of fun or a sarcasm, or these things were impossible for me. It was not enough, the learning and the not using of the English language. So I decided to go to an English speaking country. And as for Germany, I'm born in Germany. UK is the closest English speaking country. Otherwise, the next one would have been far away country.
Yeah.
I went there.
So then, what I mean, was it did the sarcasm, because the really dry sarcasm and comedy, did that take a while to kind of catch on with that? and because I mean, there's such little nuances and all kinds of stuff that probably could fly right over your head when someone's talking to you. Was that something that was difficult, or was that? I mean, did I guess if you didn't know, um, or did it take watching some? I guess not even watching TV. I mean, you really have to be interacting with the people, I guess, to get it. Or was I mean the TV helping watching some of those comedies? Or
In the beginning, I couldn't, Rusty, understand a lot, really. Even when the people have a conversation, I was still thinking, what's the word busy? Just simple words like this that just jump into your mind, and then the sentence is already gone and they talk about something else. And I was still thinking about that word. Yeah.
oh
So with
yeah,
time, and I always ask the people, I love to ask. If I don't know things, I ask, what does it mean? And in these days, we haven't had mobile telephones, huh?
right.
We had a
So
little yellow dictionary.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yep, I remember
exactly. Our
those for
life was
sure.
quite different at that time,
Yeah,
years and decades ago. And then, but it came, and when I really was able to sit down, watch a movie, especially watch sarcasm and comedy, then it was like, now I can understand and speak a very good English. And then I went also back to Germany, because then I did my task. I learned everything I needed to learn. My spiritual journey also weaved there. So, and then I went back to Germany, and yeah.
so what was that journey kind of like? Your spiritual journey in the UK?
Interesting, because I was living with New Age travelers. They had all a little bit of an understanding, and everyone brought a little bit from everywhere. South Africa, we had New Zealand, we had Australia, we had East European, North European, South European countries all come together. And it was very good, because we got a little bit of influence and ideas. When you start a spiritual journey, you don't know everything. So I just added so much information coming across with Osho. I had a man who was really into Osho, and it was very good, very
Uh,
interesting.
from India. Okay.
So there were people from everywhere, from all
Okay.
around the world, working as an experience in the UK, and then meeting in working hostels, for example, where New Age traveler can come. You get accommodation, you get food, because they get paid weekly in the UK. You will, after a few weeks, even start to make money, and it is very nice for the community. You get to know each other sounds of languages also. It's different if you speak to a person from London or you speak to a person from Newcastle or from Sheffield. Humongous difference.
For sure, yeah. Just I mean, even 10-minute drive is yeah, completely different dialect, and yeah, everyone thinks it's just British language. Like, oh well, not really, not really. There's a lot more to that. Um,
For me, it was just an advantage, because now I can deal with a lot of accents, and that's good.
yeah. So the back to Osho. So I'm from Oregon, uh, which is you know uh, whatever other side of the country, and so the guy ended up doing had his big following, and they all moved out to. Or do you know about all this stuff? So it's interesting. So yeah, there's a whole big story. So back in the 80s, the they wanted to like start a whole city kind of in the middle of nowhere, and uh, yeah, it was like a very peaceful thing. But then it was in like they took over. No, I won't say took over. They they were in a town, and the people who were living there before thought that they were taking over the town and became very defensive of these people who are different, uh, and started getting freaked out, and there became a whole big old push and pull thing, and uh, one thing led to another. They ended up having a hotel in Portland, which is this main city around there, about maybe an hour and a half west of there. And they had a hotel, and it ended up getting bombed. And then there, there was retaliation with. There was a whole bunch of salad bars that ended up getting I don't know, like restaurants with salad bars getting poisoned. And so it was like ended up being the largest bio terror attack in America. And this was back in maybe the mid 80s or so. They did it, but he said some like his teachings and everything were like some of like it was such amazing stuff that he spoke about, and all this stuff, and everything was great. And but then there, yeah, I mean the whole thing ended up getting turning into a bit of a disaster. And so then I mean yeah, they wanted to like run for like to take over, like to make the city a city, make it like instead of calling it Antelope, they wanted it to call it, I forgot, I don't know, it was Rajneeshi, or I don't remember what the name of the city was that they wanted to change it to. But yeah, they like ended up, I don't know, it was so then I spoke with a guy that I worked for, um who did communications, and this was, yeah, back like in the 80s. And so that like the FBI and were kind of into what's going, the police were into what was going on there, and wanted to get some sort of um listening devices set up in there. So when all the infrastructure got set up, um this guy I was working for was kind of part of it. And yeah, I heard some interesting stories. But then they made a Netflix documentary about it, like a 6-part documentary, maybe like 5, 10 years ago, called Wild Wild Country. But um, but yeah, but then I have a buddy who gave me, I want to say it was like 100 hours of his teachings and videos and everything, and like I've got to watch and listen to a lot of that, and it's it's bizarre how that all went to from one to another. And it's kind of a weird tangent I just went on, but one of the few things Oregon's known for, I guess, was that uh part of thing. And I mean, it was, yeah, a big deal 40 years ago, but now, I mean, if it wasn't for that thing, I don't know if many people would know that story. But
I
uh,
didn't. No.
yeah, it was crazy. It's so yeah, if you ever get a chance and want to check that out, because yeah, because like they wanted to do like a vote to get like a spot in the government. And since there was only the people who lived on this property, and then there was the people who were in the town before, and so the people on the property brought in homeless people from all over to get like a large number of people to be able to vote, to be able to
Wow.
win the election. And yeah, so then like I always think about like where I would be if I would have seen something like this going on, like where a place that was, and it's in like one of the most beautiful places out around there, like this, just right in the mountains, kind of on the high desert side of the mountain, and you know, very, it was like a very special place for a lot of natives that were living there before, and so it's always a cool place to go, you know, pass through or stop at and visit. But yeah, just hearing all those stories about it, it's just yeah, I don't know if I would have gone there, if I would have been drawn to it and think, well, there's the place where, you know, everyone can, you know, enjoy the simplistic nature of things while learning, you know, a whole bunch of teachings. Or if I would have been like, ah, no, it's not for me. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't too
You don't
old
know if
yet,
it
but
would have resonated with you in that sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would have liked to have checked it out if I would have at least been interested in it and thought about it. I don't know if I would have for sure gone or not, but yeah, it's always something that was a pretty interesting little part of Oregon there. But
Yeah.
sorry to get sidetracked on that. I like it's an interesting story. So um
Interesting. Yeah.
so okay, so back to you. 'Cause that's what this is really about. It's not about me telling stories. So then you came back to Germany. And so when you came back to Germany, were you still speaking in English, or were you meeting with English people in Germany then?
No, 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 no. Pure German. After that, it was again pure German. I did not meet any German people or was in contact with any, sorry, English speaking people. I was speaking purely German. And when I came back from the UK, my last job in the UK was driving lorries, 7.5 ton lorries.
What,
So when I
driving
came back
what?
to Germany, the first thing I did was getting a job driving 7.5 ton lorries. It was just fantastic. I love driving. You're the day over, you're absolutely alone. You have the flask with coffee, you have your you know, your butterbrot, your food, and your drink. And I love driving. And when you sit higher, it's very beautiful because you can see everything.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah.
did that for quite a while, and then I started to stop it, and then I did another education to become an occupational therapist, and that is a 3-year education in Germany with a state exam. So for that next 3 years, I was busy becoming a world-renowned occupational therapy. My title, you can have a German occupational title, or you can have one where you can work around the world. And I was wanting to have the title where you can work around the world. So I'm registered right now here in Madrid, which is the capital of Spain. I'm registered as an occupational therapist, and that is what I did afterwards. And still, there are not a lot of English speaking people in my area. I did it all in German.
And so okay, so when you were driving, you mean like you were driving like a big truck? Is that what you're talking about? Like, okay. And
Not
so
the 40-ton truck, not the 40-ton truck, the 7.5 ton.
okay,
You know, the
so
40-ton, which you have the big dragging machines in the front, not that
yeah,
ones.
okay. So I drove something like that then too, I guess. It was, I don't know how big it was. I have no clue how. I should have known. That's why I guess I didn't. I tried to go and take the test to be on a bigger vehicle, but I thought I would know it, and I didn't study, and I couldn't tell you. I like the part I didn't know was all the different parts. You have to know all the different parts of the truck, and I didn't really know any of that. But that's my own fault for not studying any of that part. I guess I also didn't maybe subconsciously want to do that maybe, but Yes, I mean it was a smaller truck, but it was nice for the most part being able, yeah, to see over everything. And um what what were
Glory.
you delivering?
Oh, I was working for in England. I was working, for example, double glazing, yeah, for a winter garden. And in Germany, I was working for a company called Hella. Hella is a company who are known to make the lights
Oh,
for
hell,
cars,
the
for
little
Audi.
circle
You
lights.
sometimes you see the lights by the rally cars. It says in blue Hella.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
sometimes I had prototypes. I had to drive prototypes of the front of cars, and they are quite valuable, these prototypes. So I had
sure.
to bring them from A to B. I was driving parts of cars actually,
So
because
then,
Hella has their own logistic company attached called Nord Süd,
yeah.
North South, if I translate it. And there I was driving the lorries, and I loved it. But it was just work. It wouldn't give my brain too much to do. And I need to do something which brings me further on my path. And that was definitely the occupational therapy. First of all, because it is a state recognized title. Okay. Um, you cannot go to a course for a weekend and get the title, which you can get for a Reiki, for example. This is a 3-year state course where you work in clinics, and then have state exams, and then you get the title or not. If you do not, you have autonomy, chirurgy, psychology, all these compliant in, and then at the state exam, they ask you all about, and then you get the title or not.
So do you have to do like is it like a written test at the end, or are you
Oh, it's a
like
state exam. It's not a test. It's a state exam where
so
you really, the government, parts of the government people come to take part in this test, who are in the departments who are responsible for that.
what kind of stuff did you have to do for that?
I, for example, in anatomy, my state exam topic was the spinal, the vertebrae, and the kidneys. So you have in writing, for example, psychology tests. So you do in writing. Some have multiple choice questions. Some are oral tests. Some are in different kinds. And my oral in anatomy, I will never forget, was the spinal, the vertebrae, and the kidneys. So that was my topic. Others had the knee, for example, in anatomy, but mine was that.
So were you happy when you got that part, or were you kind of hoping on a different part of the body that you
No,
maybe
at the end of the day, because you have to know everybody part, you have to know every single joint, everything articulating. You have to know everything because you don't know what you get just before you are actually entering the room, so to say.
oh
You
yeah.
don't know beforehand, so you could just study these two. No, you need to know all of that, and just before you enter, oh, here, by the way, these are your topics you talk about.
Whoa. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, also it's not nothing. No.
Yeah, they want to make sure everyone knows everything.
Yes, because
And
they are also keen on giving people a title who have the profound knowledge and are able to recall it also. You know, when you are then working, you are talking to doctors and other therapists, and when you talk together, you need to know every Latin word for every part of the body. I know the bones with Latin words, and the same like the nerves. So you have to have this understanding and the knowledge, because in your daily working life, these words are thrown back to you. So, and it is also important to have, when you are carrying a title, that you deserve it.
and so I mean, how much of it could someone take a test to remember it to then forget it as soon as they leave after the test? Is that something that could happen? Or because I feel like that's how most of my tests through school, not through like college and university were, but everything else was just sort of like to take a test just to get it and then forget it as soon as you get past it for the most part. Was that something that do you think someone could do and skate by then after that, or is it there's no way someone could do that and just let it get out of their head?
That is the similar, what you say is during the whole 3 years, you always have little exams.
Okay.
There you get do that. There you have this topic has been taught. The exam is about that topic. Yes. But at the end of these 3 years, all is put in a pot and picked out by chance and given to you. So even though you think, oh, I can forget it because the next time is algebra, like in a normal school, for example, and then is percentage, and then is this, yes, you can forget in between. After you did your test, you forget it because now comes algebra and we need your brain free to learn algebra. And then we skip everything after the test and then you learn percentage calculation. And then, yes, and you can do this also during the education. But at the end of all these 3 years, when the state exam, it's not a normal test, it's a state exam. You need to know every single piece you have learned in these 3 years. So you are studying and studying hours and nights. And then it's just luck. They pull out of the head what is your topic, or if it's a writing test, they give you the questions and you need to know all about it.
And so now you sort of you don't really do it anymore. Now you've or is it still something you do?
My work I always do under occupational therapy aspects. Additionally, I had yesterday a person from a school asking me to work with a 7-year-old under occupational therapy. I do that, but it's
Okay.
not where I introduce myself. I introduce myself with hypnosis because that has gone my passion, and there is where my signature method, the animal conversation, that is where my signature method lies. And still, I work as an occupational therapist if it is asked. And apart from that, I work always under the eye of the occupational therapy.
Okay. And
Yeah.
back to the animal the hypnosis. So I don't know if we talked about this last time or not, or we were going to talk about this and we didn't get to it. I'm not sure. So let me just, in case someone hasn't get it here before, didn't get here before. So then with the animal hypnosis, what were you doing when you figured out you could do animal hypnosis, and uh what kind of experience was that? Because I found out afterwards, after I hypnotized a dog, that animals can be hypnotized, is how I found out.
Okay, I don't hypnotize the animal. I hypnotize the human.
Okay.
Okay. I bring the human in a deep hypnotic state and audio tape the conversation, even though the person in hypnosis is listening to the conversation I have with the dog.
Yeah.
And the owner, rider, trainer, handler, carer, who is ever in this hypnotic state is experiencing the feelings, sensations, and emotions of the animal. So when the animal is telling the story about how it was mistreated, the person in hypnosis is experienced together with the animal these emotions.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
because that was the thing. If you have a normal alternate communicator, like an animal communicator, you give the questions to the communicator. The communicator connects with the animal energetically, gets the answers through feelings, emotions, sensations, tastes, pictures, words, and then gives you back the answers. And you're not taking part at all. But with me, you are taking part because you're missing out the best part of everything, experiencing your animal, being your animal. You are looking out of the eyes through the animal. It's just an outstanding and mind-blowing experience to have that.
I
So
bet.
with me, you are taking part. you are feeling your animal, you are feeling the healing, the shifting, everything together with your animal. And when I make a body check, you are actually be able to see into the body of your animal. It's amazing. That's the humongous difference between an animal communicator and my new unique way named Animal Conversations. And I hold a 1.5 hour conversations with your dog, with your bird, with your horse, with your kangaroo. I really talk for 1.5 hour to an animal, solving issues, solving scarcities they have, behavioral problems. They tell about the past. They tell about past lives even. Yeah, that is the difference. And that is what I wanted to achieve, is to be able to change the behavior of an animal. A lady asked, can you hypnotize my dog? He always barks when I leave the house. First, I had to say, Rusty, I don't know. Internet. Can I hypnotize animals? Not really. To make changes and to have a chat.
Right.
And then I had just to find a way. And the first animal I talked to was my white cat, and I cried. Did I cry? Oh, yes. And my cat actually gave me one of the most important messages, and I give this message to every single pet owner, is my pet said, please, 2 things. When you leave the house, tell me. And when you invite people, tell me. I live here too. All of a sudden, people coming into my place. Yeah. So please tell me when people come into your house, into my house. How important. We could say, well, that's logical. But would we think about it? Not really.
I make sure I do that with my cats, and I feel bad if I don't. Like, and if I don't say, "Oh, I'm leaving," or like if I feel if I can find one of them, one of the two, if one of them's hiding, I'll yell something so if my neighbors hear me and like, "Oh yeah, Leon, shithead," like I'm leaving, I'll be back in an hour or something. Or yeah, if someone's coming by, I'll sit them down and be like, "Hey, someone." This doesn't happen very often that someone's coming over. Like, hey, someone's coming over. It's gonna be okay, but yeah, someone's gonna be here in your space.
Exactly,
Give you
it's
a
their
heads up.
space. They
Yeah,
live there.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so one of the things I had spoke with some other people who I forgot what their title was, but I don't know what it would they say they were. But so they're able to communicate with animals in other ways, I guess. But one of the things that always struck me, I spoke with, I think I've had 2 or 3 of them on that, like if an animal runs away at some point, and rather than the animal ran away and no reason, but like they were saying, like, okay, sometimes the animal just leaves because it's not a bad thing, it's nothing they did wrong, it's just like they did everything they need to do at this place, they're moving on, going somewhere else, they wanted to leave. It's it's me, it's not you, it's not you, it's me, kind of a thing, and the animal just wanted to go. And yeah, I don't know how that would get across to people. I don't know if I heard that, if I how I would take it or not, if I would, I don't know if I would be more upset or less upset. But is that something you ever encounter, people who lose their animals, and or do you have to have the animal present when you talk with them?
Never. No animal is ever present. There
Okay.
was, I don't know if you know, a Frisian horse. They are these humongous black horses. And
Yeah.
the man in Valencia asked me, do I have to bring my horse? I said, no, I'm living in a 2-bedroom flat apartment. I said, we are not getting your horse into my apartment.
Yeah.
No, my animals are never present. The dolphin stays in the water, and the llama in Peru, that doesn't really, for me, I never have the animals present. And I just want to say, There are two different ways. There is animal communication. We either communicate verbally or in get the answers through that, or in animal conversations. And I practice a conversation. It's a complete different approach. Also, I get very often very angry people saying, I talk to my animal. When you love your animal and you know your animal, you don't need this service. It is not the same. I can interpret the behavior, the verbal, non-verbal behavior of my animal. And I know that when it does behave, bark, do in certain ways, I can interpret that my animal wants this and this. Yeah, but it's a way an animal communicates, but it is not a conversation. So it is a humongous difference one between the other. And I would love to tell a story. There was this lady, she came to me because the cat was missing. And with me, as I said, you are taking part. That means you will feel the feelings of your animal. And when your animal is communicating, hey, I left you because our time we have to have together for learning or for whatever reason we came together is over, you will also feel that. That means the understanding from the human side is different than just mentally. It's because it's felt and experienced. It's a different kind of understanding.
Yeah.
So then they are, it's still sad because the animal is gone, but they have a different understanding and they are not angry or disappointed because they know. And this one lady, she had the cat and the cat disappeared. And she was wondering what has happened. So I asked the cat, I said, hey, where are you? She said, I'm in spirit. Right then, I said, listen, what happened? She said, I got bitten to death by dogs. So it was not her choice to run away, but she encountered a group of dogs. And I said to her, I said, how long did it take? She said, 10 minutes. I said, okay. And before she said, I know my new incarnation. I know what I'm going to be. I said, what are you going to be? She said, a horse. I said, very happy for you. You're going to be a horse. And while she said, after the 10 minutes, I said, do you, or what emotions are still attached towards your death you experienced in this cycle? And she said, I'm scared of dogs. So now it could have been when she's incarnated as a horse, she would have been a horse with a fear of dogs. Could have. Because we are carrying the emotions through our incarnations and they trigger us in ways sometimes we don't even know. Right. So I gave her the opportunity. I asked, how is it? I'm scared. The feeling is scared. Is it a nice feeling? Not a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling. Do you want to keep it or do you want to have it taken away? Or please take it away, because I have to make the choice, give them to make the choice, the animal. I don't take the choice. It's there to keep it or to give it. Right. So I did my technique. I developed a beautiful technique where I can then take away the emotions, let them give me the emotions they don't need. Mental, physical, astral body, spiritual body, all around and more. So then that cat, I said, how different are you feeling now? Free. He said, do you, in the next incarnation, will you carry on that feeling? Nope. So it was very beautiful because now I know she will not carry this emotion, the fear of dogs, any further, because it has been left with me and I give it then back to universe to transform it to love and light. And that was good for the animal in the next cycle, but also very healing for the person to know what has happened, even though the stories are not very beautiful. You know that I have this, my animal, I have a foundation for animals where I work. My foundation take over the cost for my work in animal shelters. And I need volunteers to do that. I need always someone in hypnosis. That's my signature method. And the animals in an animal shelter very often have, when they tell their stories, where they come from, what they have encountered, they are not nice stories, right? They have been beaten,
Right.
they have been starved, they have been kicked, they have been yelled at, they have been making scene where other animals killed in front of them. Yeah, all these
Right.
horrible things, we also will hear about them. And the person in hypnosis will also hear and feel and see the pictures. Okay, it's a very, very intense work. But the volunteers in the animal shelters, they are normally top, top, top. As what heartbreaking work they have to give. It's incredible. As really respect to everyone working in an animal shelter, in kennels. They really see things which are heartbreaking, and they still walk through.
So, I mean, with the, do you do past life regression with your hypnosis at all? Is that something you do?
If that is wanted by people, yes.
And so, I mean,
What
because like the most important part usually is what you want to learn from the death of these in each one of those past lives was kind of the thing. Like what you're saying with the being attacked by the dogs, and like how it would take the horse being afraid of dogs in the next life, take that over. Is that so? I mean, is that something kind of similar then?
Yes, the death is, the life is also important. What has happened? Have you met people you can look at in your past life? You can see in your daily life right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we find people who are present in your former life, which are also right now present in this incarnation. It's also very interesting. The most interesting is always also how the person died, and also to be able to reframe it if it is something what the subconscious is suffering from, or that through the people now are suffering through, so that we can reframe it, can change it, so that the experience has still been there. We cannot make an experience go away, but we can reframe it and change the emotions towards it, and therefore then change their lives in the here and now. And that is the most important, because the most important point in this world is the now. So, and when you
Right.
feel not good, not happy, something where you put not in front, then it is time to look at it and find out. And hypnosis, as we know, is the fastest transformative tool known to mankind. It's instant. It's keeping on. It's holding on. It can be. It tackles multiple topics. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Right.
goes on to the mental, emotional, but also the physical side. So when you're emotional, when emotions like psychosomatic, the psychic makes the soma ill, the body. That means also that your mind and your thoughts and your way you think can make you healthy in the when we turn that around. So, and we're
Right.
using the power of the thoughts. And as I explained before, because I'm going far beyond normal clinical hypnotherapy with my clients, because I have so much experience, they do get these tasks. They have to do special things. And this with the necklace is just one thing, one task they get. And it is more holistic. I take them in the holistic way. They get informations about body, mind, spirit, emotion.
Yeah. And so then when people want to work with you, how are they going to find you on the internet? How or wherever they're going to find
Yes.
you?
They do. I'm the only person in this world on Facebook called Maja Brexel. I think we will find the name somewhere along here. Though they can get in contact with me. I have the website for my animals is animal-conversations.com. So if they're interested that they want to speak, that they want me to have a conversation and listen to the conversation and feel the animal, then they can do that over there. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, hey, Maja, thanks for being on again. Really appreciated having you on and having you back. I very much enjoy it. And yeah, we'll have you back another time again here, probably in a few months once everything's kind of settled down a little bit for me.
Yeah, Rusty, thank you so much. It's always a great pleasure with you. You're an
Absolutely.
amazing host.
Thank
making
you.
it light and invited and wanted and giving it a beautiful baseline where we can just step in and pick up your keywords. Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. All right. Well, hey, have a great rest of your day, and yeah, we'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, lots of greetings, everyone.
All right, and Maja Brexel. So, you guys, also, I'm gonna try to figure out this lighting. I noticed I've been watching the videos, and no one's saying, "Hey, the lighting's not great." So, I have indirect lighting. I need to learn how lighting works. I'm not a photogenic guy, uh, so um, yeah. Uh, Great. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for listening here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. And I'm your host, Rusty Diamond. That is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?